Look, the last thing anybody wants to hear right now is more politician BS. Todo sin vergüenza, as my mother used to say. With all due respect, the governor doesn't have a clue of what the state of your state is. He's too desperate cozying up to Donald Trump and billionaires like Elon Musk to give a damn about anybody who works for a paycheck to make ends meet. For a moment, let's turn down the volume on the voices tearing our country, our state, and our families apart.
The state of my state looks like a constant state of anxiety. I'm a doctor, and I knew I wanted to be an OBGYN as far back as I can remember. Through years of medical school, residency training, and working in a hospital, I've supported countless women with complicated pregnancies. But Governor Abbott and Texas Republicans have made it nearly impossible for me to do my job. No matter your experience, when it happens to you, it's a shock. And in 2022, during my first trimester of pregnancy, my fetus received a fatal diagnosis. I knew that continuing the pregnancy was going to be too excruciating for me emotionally, and it was going to put my health and my future pregnancies at risk. But Texas abortion bans meant I could not get the care I needed here, in my home. The pregnancy that I was carrying was never going to be a brother to my 2 children, and he had no chance of survival outside my womb. But that didn't matter. Because of our state's Republican lawmakers, I had to leave my home and my family and travel across the country for the health care that I knew I needed to preserve my future fertility and my health. The state of Texas didn't just fail me though. Every day it's failing women just like me. Some have lost their lives to preventable complications as a result of this negligence. Because of the abortion laws in our state, medical providers are afraid to provide basic reproductive health care. OBGYNs are leaving the state and medical students are turning elsewhere for their training. The truth is, our healthcare system is falling apart. Under Governor Abbott, a bigger share of Texans go uninsured than any other state. There are 5 million Texans, including nearly 1 million children, who don't have access to basic health care. Rural hospitals are shutting their doors, meaning hour-long drives to the nearest hospital, a delay that can cost lives. And new executive orders signed by President Trump could increase prescription drug prices and insurance costs. With Governor Abbott and President Trump in office, we're facing higher out-of-pocket costs and fewer protections. My story has a hopeful ending. After everything I went through, I was blessed to welcome a healthy baby boy. But I can't stop thinking about the countless women and families who won't get the same chance. Life doesn't have to be like this. The fight isn't about politics, it's about saving people's lives.
It's a bit embarrassing acknowledging that in Houston, Texas, the energy capital of the world, we struggle to maintain power even during a light rain. Quite frankly, this is unacceptable. Countless communities face challenges due to the lack of this resource. And when our homes lose power, it's the committed Texans who brave the night and the early morning to restore order to ensure our safety. From clearing fallen trees and debris to workers hitting the road to repair power lines and restore electricity, it's the Texas workers, not politicians, who lend helping hands to guide us through these difficult times. We are the ones generating every watt of energy our state needs so that when the next storm strikes, our grid will hold strong. As a proud third-generation union member, I see the dedication and hard work of my union brothers and sisters throughout my beautiful city. Our efforts go beyond individual contributions. We focus on enhancing communities for future generations. The oil and gas industry has provided good jobs for decades, and we appreciate the pipeline work done by our locals, which has allowed hardworking Texans to put food on the table and provide for their families. However, a couple of years ago, projects dwindled to only a few a year, and we saw a boom and bust cycle firsthand. So, we broadened our horizons and embraced the promising future of clean energy, such as wind and solar. Now is not the time to allow politics to hinder our progress. If Texas wants to continue leading the nation in energy production, we must harness every bit of it that we can. Profits for a few billionaires shouldn't come at the cost of tens of thousands of excellent new union jobs for working people. So what's the state of my state? I'm tired of working people not being seen. We're out here building the future, and it would be nice to get some respect and support from the leaders of our great state.
The state of my state is a state of concern. I've been an educator for 15 years, and I wake up every day knowing that I'm living my dream. In my classroom, we practice hands-on activities like coding and robotics that teach the kids how to solve problems and work together. When I catch up with some of my former students, now young adults, they tell me how they still carry the lessons we learned together. Hearing how those lessons inspire their dreams reminds me of why I do what I do. If you're a teacher too, you know this feeling all too well. But outside my classroom, Greg Abbott and his billionaire buddies are pushing an experiment that could ruin our public schools forever. Here's how it works. Private school vouchers take public money, your tax dollars, and send it to private schools. These private schools don't have to follow the same rules as schools like mine. They don't have to take all the kids. They don't have the same learning standards, and they don't have to answer to taxpayers. Private school vouchers are not for most families. They're for wealthy families who already send their kids to private schools. The rest of us, we're left with fewer resources for the public schools our kids depend on. If Greg Abbott signs the school voucher bill, public schools will have less money, which means bigger classes, lower teacher pay, and fewer resources for students. Kids with disabilities, kids in rural areas, and vital school programs will suffer the most. Instead of giving public money to private schools, we should fully fund public schools. That means paying teachers what they deserve, keeping classes small, and making sure that every kid has a chance to succeed, no matter where they live or how much their family makes. For me, the choice is simple. Public schools are the heart of our communities. Let's keep them strong. Our kids, our families, and our future depend on it. The Texas where we invest in teachers, strengthen neighborhood schools, and make sure that every child has a chance to dream big. The kids in my classroom deserve that. The families in our neighborhoods deserve that. And the future of Texas depends on it.
In just a few weeks, the Rio Grande Valley is going to celebrate Charro Days. It's beautiful, está hermoso. This is the real Rio Grande Valley. The horses, the marching bands, the food. It's a vibrant celebration of the bond between Texas and Mexico. It's about what makes us Texas, about our proud history as family and good neighbors. The fact is, Texas can only thrive if our relationship with Mexico is strong. Donald Trump, Greg Abbott, they don't know a thing about it. Plus, the price of a taco is going up because of their nonsense. It's going to be more expensive to build a home and buy your groceries because immigrant workers pick those vegetables in the fields. And immigrants run small businesses, invent technologies, and teach our children in our schools every day. You look around and billionaires like Elon Musk get everything they want. Just down the road at Boca Chica Beach, Elon blows up his rockets and trashes our public beaches. A Pennsylvania billionaire buys Greg Abbott's favor to try to pass private school vouchers and tear down our schools. None of us want our taxpayer dollars paying for private tuition of the very wealthy. That's why vouchers have failed to pass for decades. Trump and his billionaire backers are tearing down renewable energy, but the Rio Grande Valley is home to some of the biggest wind production in the country. Here's the thing, Greg. You can't understand the state of Texas cozying up to a posse of billionaires that want nothing more than for us to turn our backs on each other. Texas Democrats know the real state of our state because we've lived it and hear it every day. Texans love this state, and they will do anything to make things a little brighter for their kids and grandkids. The fact is, people are struggling after 30 years of Republican rule. Regular people from all walks of life and every neighborhood deserve a fair shot to get ahead, and they're not going to get it while Abbott's billionaires are lining their pockets. Every day our Democratic lawmakers in Congress and at the state capitol are fighting back, and every day our great Democratic cities and counties are delivering results. That is why people want to live here. But Texas Democrats have a lot of work ahead to make good on the promise of our state and our country. Glad to have you in the fight with us. Pues adelante.